Alright, welcome everybody. Man, it feels good to be back and actually do this again. I've missed this. I've been gone for so long. Anyways, yeah, tonight, I bought some of these in celebration that I finally have free time again, so we're just gonna be building and painting a bunch of Skaven from Age of Sigmar. Personally, I don't care that much for the setting of Age of Sigmar, I just like the Skaven. And I figured that if I get a few minis done, I can use one of them as an alchemist for a D&D playthrough for a mini. At least that's the idea. But for now, I actually need to build it. So let's get a couple of the Warcrime rats built, and we'll see how it goes. I will say though, I'm not the biggest fan of this, because along with this, I bought a box of the Globadiers, and I also bought a box of the Warblock Giselles, because I really wanted to see if there was extra heads from this kit to throw it on the Giselles. However, I am out of luck on that front. So yeah, part 1 and part 2. I found part number 2. There we go. Okay. Avril Centaurine, just move over there, please. I need to find. That was part 2, now I need to find part 1. That's 3. Ah, there's 1. Okay. Da-da-da-da. You know, you'd think that for as long as I'd been gone, I actually would have thought to buy clippers, so that way I don't have to keep carefully cutting through on the sprues like this. Because there's no way that this is always going to work out for me as it has in the past. Oh gosh dang it, that terrain. Like I said. Alright. These are supposed to go together? Let's see. There's a paw, there's a paw. Okay, now that's starting to make more sense. Okay, yeah. That makes much more sense now. Okay. Press and hold him down. Give that a few seconds to set. But, oh my. This is going to be interesting to paint. All these flowing robes are... My initial idea with the Globadiers is I don't like the green and gray colors that they have for the official colors. So what I think I'm going to do, since these are Globadiers and supposed to be poison, like alchemists that just throw poison everywhere, I think I'm going to make the robes purple. Like, I'm going to keep the bottles and everything green, but I think I'm going to go with more of a purple and tan mix for the robes, just to see if I might be able to get something mixed out a bit more. Because I don't know, just keeping everything green just didn't seem too interesting to me. So part number 3, I remember saying that. But yeah. Hello, how's it going, Atha? So far, this all seems to make sense. Let's see. Okay, so it slips in here. But yeah, hello, welcome in everyone. Apologize, it's been a while since I last streamed, so I'm trying to get back into the habit of everything. So far, I just wanted to celebrate that I finally have free time again to stream, and so I bought myself some Skaven because I was really excited for them. Not that I really have any interest in playing Age of Sigmar like I do with playing 40k, but Skaven were just fun, and I figure I can turn them into D&D minis, depending on the setting I'm in, so... I'm just trying to branch out and have a little bit more fun with something I can repurpose. That, and also, to be truth be told, I just want to put off finishing these guys for a bit, because I want to get back into into the things of actually painting again before I finish those Space Marines, because they're almost done, but it's been so long since I picked up a paintbrush. I want to make sure I can get everything done correctly. Okay. Part number 4. Okay. I think while I've got a few minutes, I'm just going to try and clean up the extra sprue pieces here. Okay. Next part is... six. Okay. Okay. Gosh dang. Then part number 5. Okay. That's how it goes. Or it should. This does not want to cooperate too well, so I'm just gonna... There it is. Okay, that seems sturdy enough now. Okay, what kind of hat are we using? 7, okay. Yeah, okay, it's a complete head. Alright. Okay. I can leave them there. Let's find the next part. 8. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense why the face was so borked. It's 'cause you just cover it up with a grill. Yeah, before I glue this down, what kind of... Okay. Goes onto the front of his face, and then glue the sides to the tank back there. Okay. That's annoying. Okay. A few hiccups here and there, but for the most part, we got it on just fine. Okay, so we got the face part glued on. What comes after the face? Okay, the giant backpack. Alright, part number 1. That'd probably be easier to find for me to find part number 1 if I could actually see where the numbers were. Oh, did I misread that? Hold on. Okay, so I gotta figure out what the backpack is. They're not giving me the right one for it. Okay. Just gotta be real careful with the glue, but we should be able to just carefully tap it in. So. Alright, not carefully tapped in. I failed that skill check. Bad gluing aside, I do like how this guy came out. Just gonna... Ah! Damn it! Are you kidding me? Oh, that's so annoying. Okay. So I have to glue this back on because the glue stuck to my finger and ripped the part off. 10 out of 10 build. Very sturdy, very reliable. back down you go. Nothing more fall off, please. I cannot deal with that. Mostly because my fingers are covered in the super glue, so the longer this goes on, the worse I'm gonna have grip. Okay. Alright. Guy number 1 done. I will base him later. Because I did not get basing materials, and I probably should have before stream, but I did not think that far ahead. Alright, part 12 and 13. Okay. There's 13. Yeah, 12 and 13, okay. Gonna have to get a better angle to cut this out, though, because that is not something I want to trifle with. Okay. Okay. Got that part together. Now we're looking at 14, 16, 15. Okay. Part 14. Find that. There it is, okay. Okay. Ah. $15 and $16, okay. Okay. Gonna leave that there for now. Then, how's this arm supposed to go? Ah, that's very concise. Okay. Much as I like the pose, I have no faith whatsoever in this thing staying on. Like his hand staying on his arm. Because that was such a difficult glue. And it just wiggles so much. I'm not sure that's staying on. Sure, maybe once I start painting it'll hold on a bit better, but if it was like anywhere else, like I might be able to try to drill in and put like some metal in there, but that's such a thin arm. I don't like that. I wish the hand just came as part of the arm in one solid build. Having to put the hand on it separately and the way they have it connected does not lock in well. Not a big fan of that. But, okay, that's just one tiny thing. Let's hope that's not the precedent for something else. Alright. $11 and $6. Is that? No, I think this one's 18, 17. Okay. Well, let's see how that goes. And just like that, the hand's coming off again. Yeah, I might have gotten ahead of myself. I forgot to get it off the coil. Or the coif. Okay, attempt number... I think this is 3 or 4 now. Hey James, how's it going? I am trying to do attempt number 4-ish of trying to keep this hand to stay on this model. Because, hot damn, this connection point sucks. That is, of course, if the super glue would stop fusing to me more than the model itself. Or I'll just rip the hand even more. Okay, screw this. We're kit bashing that hand into a hook. Because this hand really just does not stay on the model at all. I'm not sure what to do about that. I mean, overall I'm doing alright. I am frustrated at the idea of separate hand on an arm that thin that I can't even drill or do anything to stabilize this. So, it's a little annoying, but besides that, I am excited. I haven't been able to stream paint or build any minis in a while, so it's kind of nice just being able to relax and to get this all done. Though, I will say I do not miss the super glue forming to my fingers. That I don't miss that part. But yeah, no, just trying to relax. First day off I've had in a while from work, so just trying to build some more crime rats. However, the rats are resisting me as much as I want to resist getting out of bed in the morning some days, so it's definitely a struggle. Okay. Try one last time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do to save this. Alright. That hand's not going to work. We're going to skip past it, and I am just going to carve part of the sprue into a hook, I guess. Because if the hand can't even stay onto the arm, then there's no point, really, in even trying to keep up with that. Yeah, no, that's fair. I I like 40k for the most part. It's what got me into the hobby. However, Sigmar, it's kind of weird for me. Because outside of the Skaven and the Aztec lizards, I always forget their name. I don't really have any interest in any of the other factions in the Age of Sigmar lineup. They're not bad, I just find them underwhelming so far. Like, the Skaven are just chaotic enough that they kind of just hit that itch for me of absolute insanity. But I don't get that with most of the fantasy factions. But I also just wanted to have some stuff that I could repurpose because I play a lot of D&D and I'm a DM right now. And I figured, damn it. Sorry. I have been struggling with these fucking kits. Like, these Skaven have so many dangling bits that just snap off if you just breathe on it wrong. Like, I had to re-glue this 3 times already. That it's not staying to its backpack. This guy's hand is snapping off all the time. I want to love the Skaven, but gosh dang it, these kits are not working with me. Oh, this is so frustrating. Like, for all of the stuff between D&D, like, when it comes to D&D, I've got stuff like this, and then I've got some of the other kits like this that I had to heavily kit bash to make it work right. I've never had a single problem with things snapping off like I do right now. This is really disappointing, because I really like some of the more complicated stuff. Like, this is a mini I'm working on for D&D. Haven't had too many issues with her. Nothing snapped off. But it feels like everything is snapping off on these kits. God damn. Sure, we can chalk this up to a skill issue for the most part, but wow. This is just disheartening that one of the cooler factions from Age of Sigmar and the first kit I get into keeps shattering. This is... Regardless, yeah, no. I got into 40k because 40k seemed awesome to me. And then Sigmar, I want to learn more about it. Because so far I haven't been that interested in the setting, besides the Skaven. And so I wanted to get into it a bit more, have some more fun, experiment with things. It's just, besides my little tangent there with how annoying this kit is so far, I do like the Skaven. They are fun, I love their lore, I love how they act, and I like what they do. I just, for the life of me, cannot seem to catch a break with this kit, though. Let's see, 19 for the backpack. But yeah, no, sorry. I normally keep my cool a little bit more, but these kits are trying my patience. Because I've never had things shatter on me. I even got some cheap Etsy minis that I've never struggled with when building and painting. So far, this kit is not friendly. Which I guess makes sense. It is in line with how the Skaven are. So, okay, I got a canonical set. But man, I was really hoping for just an easy build. No, that's fair, that's fair. And that's where I've been getting my Age of Sigmar stuff, is Pancreas no work. That's how I kind of learned more about the Skaven, because I wanted to learn more about the Skaven, and he was just the first video that came up on my feed, and so I watched it there. And it's kind of why I want to get the, I want to get some, I'm trying to find a couple of Rattling gun kits, because so far, the only one I could find that was a gun of sorts that I wanted at the time was the Giselle. I got some Warplock Giselles as a kit. And then I got some Globadiers because I liked how the Globadiers looked. That, and I like Poison. As a status effect and everything, I really enjoy Poison, even though Poison in most games is kind of ineffective on just about everything. But I thought they were fun. Just little rats in hazmat suits. Let's see. Soon we're going up like... Okay. Oh, that does not line up well. Yeah. But, well, since you seem to know more about it, James, what's your interest point for Age of Sigmar? Just as somebody like me who doesn't know too much about the setting, what would you say are some of the more key selling points or some of the more interesting parts of the lore? Because the whole reason I got into Warhammer was for the lore. I had a friend who had a lot of discussions with me about lore on certain series, and that's kind of what got me interested in 40k. I haven't heard much from Sigmar besides the Skaven. So I'm always more interested in learning about other factions and what makes them tick and what's interesting about them. Because the whole reason I choose anything is based on lore on what I'm building. Hell, my Space Marines are a very unknown faction, because I don't know of many people who run Deep Krakens. Or sorry, Dark Krakens. I always mix up Deep and Dark together whenever I have to say that name. But I don't know too much more about the Sigmar factions. I would be interested to learn about them. Well, I know there's apparently, like, what is it? Dwarves that worship chaos? I hear that they're fun, but again, I just don't know much about them. Okay. Now, I do try to cater my audience to adults, but just in case, I do need to have it be said, kids, don't try this at home. I am an idiot. I'm a professional idiot. Just gonna carve away. Idoneth Deepkin. Okay. Is Deepkin just how they say dwarf? I just want to make sure I'm following and getting the right idea. They are the elves underwater. Huh. Okay. I didn't realize they had underwater elves in Sigmar. Okay. You've definitely gotten my attention. Okay, come on. So, let's see, the name is Idonath Deepkin. So with the Idonath Deepkin, what's their story? Okay. Then gonna get a cut right there. Okay. "99 out of 100 is born with a dying soul, so they're ready to get more souls to heal themselves." Okay. Interesting. Oh, I just carved that hook. Where did that fly off to? Wait. Do I want to go with a hook or... Wait, because this might work. Okay, this is dumb, but this might actually work. If I just trim off that piece. Oh, okay. Okay. Because if we've got the Great Horned Rat, why not throw on... Okay, I need to flatten that and cut just a little. Oh, where'd it go now? Man, I keep just losing everything. There we go. There it is. Gillian was another creature with a soul. Okay. I'll say that's definitely an interesting faction idea. Okay. In a battle, they fight with crabs, sharks, and big turtles. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that definitely has my attention and interest. Okay. Sorry, I need to move some stuff around because I just realized I also have something I never got to use before. I might be able to break it out now. No, I don't even know that. Oh, come on, where's my space shark bits? I know I got some around here. Sorry, as you were talking about all that stuff, I just remembered that I have space shark bits. So I might have a better looking hook or a claw that I can just graft onto his hand for his hand. I do. Eureka. Okay. Made for the big tower is called the Achelian Leviathan. Ah. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. If I just carefully cut away. Of course, keyword is carefully. Holy shit. That is not... Okay, well, that just flew right off the table. Alright, well, I thought I had my saving grace. That definitely was not it. Oh, that's tragic. Had a moment of clarity. I was actually doing something right, and I screwed it up. Okay. Yeah, it might be for next time. We will have to see. Because I was very excited to throw that little hook right on there. And now I've got no idea if I can even find... Yeah. Well. Thought I had it figured out. I did not. Okay. That is very disappointing because I was actually being smart for once with all my extra bits that I could kit bash with. Okay, well. I don't want to give up the search just yet, so I'm going to take a few more seconds, try to see if I can find that hook. That might have to be an off-stream adventure, though. Which is very annoying. Because I think that's the only hook in the entire bag of bits I have. Unless if I am super lucky and there's multiple hooks. I don't know if I'm that lucky, though. Alright. What we are going to do in the meantime is I'm just going to move that chain over there. I'll have to find a use for it somewhere else. Alright, let's scatter this around and see what we have. Got an anchor. Might be able to make it work. I could... Yeah, the seals are a no-go, but... there is a harpoon head. Or if I want to tempt fate. But what sense do I like in an army? As long as it's fun and interesting, that's all I really care about for an army. Like, I knew that getting into doing Warhammer stuff, I want to do Space Marines, but I didn't know which faction, so I went through factions and I found the Dark Krakens. Purple's my favorite color, so incorporating purple into the color scheme was already a no-brainer. And then from a Death Water world, that just kind of sparked something in me. It got me really excited. So that's kind of how I found that one. Outside of that, Skaven were just funny war crime rats, and so I knew I was going to get Skaven at some point. It was just a matter of when I had the time. Then where are my tweezers? But I don't really care too much about how the army plays. As long as I have fun with making them, I'm willing to try just about anything on the tabletop. Mostly just because I haven't played too many tabletop games like this, and so I'm trying to keep an open mind about play styles so that as time goes on I can try and find my preferred play style with a faction I like more. Oh, that's off center. Okay. Got the Son of Behemoth. I have no idea who or from where the Sons of Behemoth come from. It's an interesting name. Okay. Giants as an army. Okay. That could definitely be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of glue here, then that. Yeah, that went about as well as I expected it to. It's all good, James. As much as I am struggling with the kit and with the bits flying around, I am having fun with kit bashing. I mean, I am a newcomer to building and kit bashing, so it's definitely not going to be as clean as it could be. But I do have fun with these issues. Though I am going to have the initial, ah, son of a bitch feeling every once in a while. Because, you know, I liked the pose for how this hand was supposed to be right there. However, as far as rule of cool goes, I just need to mix up a little bit of milliput to wrap around the base of the arm here to make it look like the chain of the hand like the chain of the arm attach. And now I just got a guy who can spin poison around, like he's got a Catholic incense sensor to just breathe, have poison mist around him wherever he goes. So, sure, sometimes the process is a little annoying, but I am having fun regardless. And it's also a lot more fun since I get to talk to people and learn things as I do it. So, yeah, that's kind of why, despite my frustration, it feels very Skaven to just do stupid shit like this, because this just kind of feels in line with everything. So, I feel like I'm doing right by my war crime rats. May not be building them correctly, but I don't think they really care about being built correctly. It's more about being deadly. And besides, if I ever get to bring these guys to an actual tabletop game, it'll be very fun just to have this as a little guy up front. I just wish these models weren't so front heavy. They have horrible balance. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I am gonna... At first I didn't think I was gonna want or need my milliput, but now I actually do need it. Just gonna... Forgive me, I'm sorry it's a little boring up front for a moment. It just takes a little bit to... Just need to slice some stuff off so I can get that stuff ready to bond to his arm. Okay. But yeah, no. I am very excited because despite the hand being so bad that we had to compromise and change something else, I do like how it came out overall. As long as we can get this to stick just right, famous last words, then hey, I will say that I did decent enough. Where are my glues applicators? Because I am gonna need to be very delicate with how I handle this. Right. From here, just gonna... No, it's all falling apart. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, well, that's just how it goes with these things. I don't have surgeon's hands. I am very much... I was a sketch artist, and then I learned a little bit of blacksmithing. Precision work with something this small is not my forte, but I wanted to stretch and try something new. Gonna make this a bit more beefy. Yeah, my stepfather was a jeweler, and he learned a little bit of blacksmithing. And so when he found out that I always wanted to be a blacksmith, he helped me find somebody to teach me a little bit. And he did some as well, so I learned a little bit about that. Right now, I have a forge, I just haven't had the money to finish building and resetting everything up. Because one thing I need to get a new stump for my anvil, because at the present time I don't have an anvil to make things work, and it's a little hard to swing correctly if I don't have it at the right height. Because if it's not at the right height, then my hammer swings are going to be a little bit off. Oh, what are you doing? Get out of there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know, it's just something that always appealed to me when I was young. And when I had the opportunity to work on it, I jumped on it no problem. Nowadays, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things whenever I have the time. But, of course, blacksmithing costs money. And money is not something I have. I might fool you by having a Warhammer kit, but I can buy one about every 2-ish months. I normally get my minis off Etsy, because most of my minis here, like this one that I still need to finish painting, this was like $5 on Etsy, so I try to make investments, but it is what it is. But I think I'm gonna call the chain weld fine on him for now. When I get him primed up and painted, it'll look much better as I can make it blend a bit more. But I think I can call that good there, because maybe not the intended way of doing this, but I like how we were able to save it, so I'm calling it good there. So, have fun and leave him be. Now I need to find where I put the instructions. I will say, though, the fact that none of these guys have a gun sidearm is funny and a little odd to me. Because they throw poison at, like, poison globes. So just glass globes filled with poison at their enemies. Why not have, like, some sort of, like, I don't know, a crossbow or something to launch vials at people? Okay, so we got that one done. And part 21 and 20, okay. Eh. Maybe just to focus on the gimmick of they throw globes rather than having actual guns. But I don't know. I feel like there would be a case for it. But granted, if you're creative enough, you can kind of make a case for anything, really. Like, one thing is, I definitely say I would try to make a case for the Skaven should be in 40k, because the Skaven really are just one of the coolest factions Games Workshop have made of all time. And the fact that there's an implied thing in the lore that they accidentally used a far squeaker to contact one of the 40k elf factions, I feel like there can be a precedent to bring the Skaven in. But I don't know. Okay, so this part 21, and then I need 20. Where's 20? Da, 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 da. Hmm. I feel like if they introduced the Skaven as they did similar to the Tau with a Chaos mix, I think it could be done. Because the whole thing with the Skaven is they build things, but they're incredibly unstable that they will blow up either the enemies or the guy holding the gun. And they're nothing but insane. I feel like if you're going to bring them into 40k, I would say you can just introduce them as a warp storm hit, and because the warp is known for its bullshit, it just transported the Skaven into the future, and in that time the Skaven come across a human settlement that they ransack, and after ransacking it, they learn, oh hey, there's some new technology, we can learn from this. They learn from it and then become a spacefaring faction, maybe after raiding a human faction or getting entangled with the Thousand Suns. Like, I feel like if they got tangled with a chaos group that wasn't the World Eaters, there's a chance this Skaven could learn future tech and then just go out of control from there, because their whole thing is backstabbing to gain power. And so if they just had to raid a few settlements and become successful enough that they were able to make it, then they'd get the blueprints, they'd be able to make their own designs, change a few things, and they could shake it up from there. At least that's just off-rip, though. Like, my off-rip, hey, here's a potential way this could happen. Will it actually happen? Maybe not. Is it feasible? Does Workshop do it? Absolutely not. There are ways to write them in, but it mostly just comes down to kind of how the Tau were introduced into 40k, which is warp bullshit. It's not a bad justification, but it's not the most exciting. At least not for me. It's kind of why I understand the Tau and how they came to be, but it's not the most endearing backstory of, oh yeah, they just got trapped in a warp storm for 6,000 years and then came out as a spacefaring empire. It's like, okay, cool. Why? How? Like, because I don't know, I guess my justification is, if they can just say the Tau figured it out, then I think they could just say the Skaven just figured it out. Because I'm not trying to hate on Games Workshop or how they do their story, but I will say the Tau just felt very underwhelming until I got to anything to do with Farsight. The rest of it, it makes sense. It just wasn't interesting. And for the 2 Tau players I have met and talked with, I don't like how they kind of view the Tau as the good guys, because everybody's evil in 40k. That's kind of the point. And so hearing, like, from the 2 Tau players that I've met unironically go, yeah, the Tau are the good guy. It's like, no, they just commit genocide quietly. But if that's the faction you want to play, go for it. Just don't tell me that the Tau are the good guys. That was never the intended purpose of them. But, nah. As long as they have fun. Okay, finally got those legs attached. Gosh dang. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely the option to add the Skaven into 40k. I don't know if they do it well, or if they would ever do it. There is the option, but whether they take that or not, that's up to Games Workshop. I could see it going either really good or really bad. It just depends on how it's implemented. But that's kind of just any and every change that's made to a setting in general is. It can go well, it could go bad, it depends on how they bring it about. Like the whole female custodies thing was, gosh, that was a interesting debate to follow along back when that first happened last year. Yeah. You're not talking that. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. My 2 cents is very simple. If it was introduced any way differently than how they introduced it, I think less people would, like, a lot less people would have taken issue with it. I have mixed feelings because I always liked how it was the Custodians and then Sisters of Silence working together, because of the themes that I can do with certain aspects of men and women working together, complementary but different. You know, there were themes that you could derive from it, along with the fact that it was just interesting to have a male and female faction separate but working together. However, the Twitter introduction of "there have always been," even though we've never talked about them before, it was very much a whole thing. But yeah, no. I would say it's not inherently a bad idea. It was just handled so horribly that that I'm certain it's turned off more people from the idea than ever before. But yeah, no, that was the whole thing. And I remember that going off a while ago. However, I also follow a lot of creators about 40k. Yeah, here's my thing. If I were to introduce it, I would have simply said, hey, we already had, what's his name? Like, Belisarius Cawl already made the Primaris Marines. Just say that it's not it's a full-on Custodes, but maybe just an upgraded Sister of Silence. So it's kind of bridging the gap where she is a little bit stronger, but she's not a Custodes per se, but maybe just improving the Sisters of Silence to be even more ferocious than they once were. I think that would have been fine. Or if they just said, hey, Cawl was tinkering around and, oh hey, he was able to make a female Custodes. Oh, cool. Then all of a sudden we can blame shenanigans on Cawl. And that's a way to introduce it. Just straight up saying, since the first founding, there have always been them, even though they've never shown up in a book or any piece of media before this. That was just the worst way to handle it. Like, there was potential. I'm not trying to say that there was never potential or never a chance. It's just, they went about introducing the idea and implementing it in the worst way possible. And of course, there's the conspiracy theory that Amazon was forcing Henry Cavill to make a strong female character, and so Games Workshop tried to make female Custodes, because apparently, according to the conspiracy theory and rumors, Amazon didn't like a Sister of Battle and didn't want a Sister of Silence, and so they just didn't have anybody like that for his entourage. I don't quite know. Again, that's just 4chan conspiracies, but considering how many times conspiracy theorists have been right, I'm not putting that off as potential. I'm not going to outright say that's what happened, but I'm gonna give it some credence. It's very possible. Okay, and then I need part 24 and 23, okay. But yeah, no. As a kid, I was a Star Wars fanatic. I grew up going to the nearby library in my area, because I used to be able to walk to it. I'd go there and I'd just read Star Wars novels. And I dedicated a lot of my childhood learning about the lore and how everything worked. Now that Disney's kind of, for the most part, changed everything I liked about Star Wars and really threw in some horrible implementation, it's always been difficult. Because I am one who has always been, the lore comes first when building a story. World building happens when it happens naturally is good. Like, I don't want exposition dumps. But when you have a narrative that gets big enough, you have to adhere to the series you've set up and the themes you've created. As soon as you start changing things on a whim, you're going to lose people. Even if the idea is good, if you mishandle it, you're going to lose faith from everybody with regards to the project. That's kind of why I am very cautious when talking about lore changes, because sometimes lore changes are handled so poorly that it's better if they had never been discussed in the first place, rather than just trying something new for the sake of trying something new. There's always a rhyme and reason for everything. But if you have a setting and you have established rules and then you just drop the rules because you can, you're not showing consistency in your own product, which makes lore nerds like me kind of disinterested in, hey, I spent time I dedicated time to learn these rules, so I could learn how to do this correctly. Now you're telling me it's all for nothing. Like, it's not a good way to treat people who are interested in the IP. Oh, you did? Well, that's exciting, man. Was it for writing a book, or were you designing something like a game? Like, what? If you don't mind me asking, of course. That's not hearing well. Just for fun? Yeah, fair enough. I can respect that. Okay. Okay. Got fusion there. Thank goodness. Okay. Just hold on for me for a few seconds. Okay. Sorry, I was hyper-focusing. But just for fun that can be very interesting. Like history, so I can make history, but more magically well. You know what, though? Some of the best stories come from that kind of setting. I mean, I am biased, but there are definitely... When inspired by certain times in history, you get some really good stories. I mean, but I don't know. I am biased because I'm very much a history buff. I was raised to be a history buff in my family, so that was always something that I was going to be interested in working on. 26 and 25. Because I know one of my favorite stories is Violet Evergarden, because it takes place in post-World War I time frame. But the world building and how the story plays out is just really good, and I really enjoyed it when I watched it. That, and also it helped me remember that emotions can be nice from time to time. Okay, there's the head. Part 25. Yeah, I play D&D. That's where most of my minis come from. Because I've got this guy I need to finish. I need to redo the paint because the speed paint came out inconsistent on his carapace. But yeah, I do D&D. It's where I got most of my minis that I've been working on. Right now, I kit bashed this a while ago, but I never painted it. But this is turning into a Petsukos because my party befriended one. So I need to get that done. This is a witch that gave one of the party members an immunity to poison. And then I want to have these guys for an encounter inside a temple. I just haven't finished painting them just yet, but I got most of the groundwork done for what I wanted to do with them. But I balance painting D&D with Warhammer minis. Because I got a few things here or there. This guy, I need to bend his sword back into shape. For the current game, I am, yeah. With my friends right now, what happened is, a few years back, we started playing a game. However, last year, our DM said that he's been running the game for 2 years, and we just finished book 2 out of 3 for the campaign, and he kind of wanted to play for a little bit. So I volunteered to set up a campaign, so that way he can take some time. So instead of being a forever DM, he can also play. And so this is the first time I've been DMing a long game. But we kind of bounce between the two campaigns depending on who's more set up, who's prepared, and what we feel like playing. Because he's doing a pre-made campaign from an older edition years and years ago. I think that campaign either came out in the late 90s or early 2000s. It's been a good one so far. And then I did pure homebrew as I left up to group vote with my party, like of my group of what setting, and they overwhelmingly chose Wild West. So everybody's got a gun and magic is interesting. But I've been having fun with it so far. However, because I decided to homebrew a bunch of crap, I also have to deal with the consequence of, oh no, I have to have an answer for some of these things that I thought were cool. Now I have to make it coherent and work in the world. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed it because building a world and having my own rules and being able to say, hey, yes, no, that's how this works, that's how that doesn't work. It's been a challenge to make it consistent, but it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot. I definitely could have done with some more planning and forethought because I am not good at that, but I am good with improv, and so that's where I draw my strength. What is the world like? Basically, on the setting we're in that I set up, they are on the frontier of essentially, it's a new continent that was discovered recently, and so it's similar to the Wild West, like the US, but it's mostly just, oh hey, turns out some people sailed around with a boat, got lost, and found a new continent that barely had any contact with ours. So they're all in the frontier, and they're just taking up odd jobs as guns for hire. And so for the most part, the party's just trying to figure out what to do, where to go, and how to help as they go around a boom town. There is a town the current town that they're in it had an opal mine, but they recently found a gold vein, and so it just exploded with the gold rush. And so that town's trying to keep up with its expansion while also trying to deal with the fact that, everybody who goes to the frontier has their own reasons. Some good, some bad. You never know until you meet the person themselves. That's kind of what I've been working with, is just trying to get everything set up to mess with my party. Just to have a little bit of fun and move around. But yeah, that's kind of the setting for the campaign we're doing right now. 27, 28, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't want to get too crazy with it because I just wanted a blank slate, because if it's the Wild West, the thing that would kill being in the Wild West is if I overcomplicated it for my party. And so I have it set up that there is a end game bad guy that they're gonna fight. It just depends on, are they gonna be smart enough to snuff them out or accidentally join them? Because the longer we've played and the more decisions they've made, the more I've fleshed out the world based on just random things that came to mind. Like, for one time, they decided to mess around in the Feywild, so I made an entire temple based on, as a reference to Dark Souls 1. So, they had to fight Sif, and then they met Guinevere, and they also met Gwendolyn, and then later Aldrich. Which I had a lot of fun, because I finished it on stream a while ago, but I painted a Gwendolyn figure from Dark Souls 1, and I was very happy with how that turned out. But I was able to use them as a boss twice, so I have the mini over there. And now I've set up an entire Underdark smuggling ring that they are working on figuring out who is where. And because I like Alice in Wonderland and Alice Return to Madness, I mixed in American McGee's Alice Return to Madness as a fun way to make the Feywild screw with my players and help them by accident. So that way I have shenanigans set up left, right, and center, and depending on where the party goes, I have an answer for what they're doing. By doing that, I was able to set up the Feywild in a way that makes more sense to me, but then gives the party different ways to explore and go about changing the world and how they interact with it. So yeah, the premise was simple, but it was mostly because if I had a simple premise, I could spend time doing what I love, which was creating characters and a story. So I set up a small little town, and then I came up with every building name, every person in that building, and what goes on behind the scenes with it. I was staying over at a friend's house when I did it, and I didn't go to sleep, and I got there at 6 p.m. and I went to bed at 2 that night because I was just on a binge. I had a lot of interesting ideas. They partially fleshed out, and then spent some time over the next month really getting ready. And the joke is very much the same with D&D, because being a DM is like being a cat owner. When you buy your cats a nice big cat tree so that they can relax, play, and have fun, you set it up, you get ready, you know your cats are going to love the cat tree, only for those assholes to play with a cardboard box and not care about what you just built for them. So, it's been fun, but the main thing so the other guy who's in my group, who is the DM for the other campaign, he and I kind of agree that we love the games that we're playing in the group, but we definitely need somebody who is the protagonist in our group. Because so far, a lot of our players are very much reactive. We don't have anybody who leads the charge. There was somebody in our group 2 years ago who led the charge and kind of was the protagonist and made the story progress, which was a lot more fun having them around. But there wasn't after she left because she moved. We have had momentum and progress in the story, but it kind of turned into unneeded side characters to step up to the plate. And so I've been trying to make the campaign happen. On his campaign, I've been trying to step up a little bit, cause some chaos, and move forward with things. The issue is that I'm a bard. Bards don't move things along. They talk their way through things, but I don't lead the party that well. So that's kind of a thing. I'm crazy and big in my world. It's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of stuff I need to write about. No, that's fair. But that's the fun part about creating your own world. You set the tone, you set the story, you set the pace. and you get to have fun doing what you want with it. Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly believe it is. But also it just depends on how things go. Because, you know, when it comes to D&D, it's all about how your party meshes with you. If you guys are playing together as a group or playing as a solo, it kind of makes or breaks a campaign, just depending on how you go about it. Either way, I enjoy it. We meet up for D&D on every Sunday, unless if something comes up. And I've had a lot of fun with it so far. Oh, I straight up skipped his arm. I was wondering why that seemed weird. I don't... How am I struggling to find his arm? 23. Ah, found it. Okay. Okay, found it. I was nervous for a second because I could not find this arm. It's like, how? Okay. Because now comes the question. How do I want to handle putting his arm on? Ah. No, that's fair. Grim and Dark is a very fun setting. The issue is when it comes to D&D, it's very much dependent on your players and what they're willing to work with. Cuz some players have no tolerance for darker stuff, whereas others, they don't mind as much. It just comes down to knowing the party and will they like the world in its detail that you set up, or is it going to turn more into a situation? Okay. Aha, okay. Yeah, no. I have always enjoyed dark fantasy, but the reasoning I enjoy dark fantasy is because how I've always explained it is the darker the tunnel, the brighter the light at the end of it is. The strength of dark fantasy is that you get to, the darker the world is, the more you get to explore the themes of trauma and hope. Dark for the sake of dark can be entertaining, but being able to simply say, hey, this is a messed up world, this is how hope shines through, it's a very uplifting message, and when done right, I think it's one of the strengths of dark fantasy that people do not talk about. However, I'm also pedantic, and I'm an emo kid who grew up listening and reading to Edgar Allan Poe and listening to Evanescence. So this is just one of the many coping points that I've made, so I can say that it's not edgy for the sake of edgy. That's how I go about justifying some of my likes. So, It might be a great point, but this is also just me trying to justify the fact that I like super edgy things quite often. So, take that as you will. If it's with a grain of salt or if it's with a pound of salt, either way works. It's just how I look at things. But again, I unironically listen to Secondhand Serenade Fall for You, so I don't know how reliable I am as a messenger and as a thought creator on that side. So, again, take that with a grain of salt. How many more of these guys do we got? I got 2 left? Okay. My world is dark and grim enough to have a god literally named Hope. Oh, I like that. That sounds like it could be very interesting. It also reminds me of, there's an artist I follow on Twitter called Based Binky, who has been creating their own world. I think it's called The Forgotten Realms, is like a game they're creating. Literally based off of all the OCs that they're creating, and we've kind of been encouraging him to keep creating OCs and build his own world, because he's done such an interesting job with what he's done that we all want to see more of it. That's definitely something I want to see from him, because I think he's made some interesting characters. And let's be real, as far as a narrative goes, a setting is good, but a setting lives and dies by the characters that inhabit it. 29 and 30. Okay. So we got part of the body done. That was the second side called. 29 and 30. Okay. Ah, there it is. Okay. I thought I was going blind. Re-explain which part. Sorry. I just want to make sure I'm going over the right part again. Because yep, that's a cut. Yeah, no worries, man. It happens. I get distracted and go on tirades all the time. So I'm not the most easy to follow person when I start talking about things. How does this go together? Okay. Oh, yeah. So there's an artist on Twitter by the name of Based Binky. He just created a bunch of OCs and got really popular for making them on Twitter. But then eventually he brought up the idea of maybe creating a game or something based on that setting. Sorry, I'm super gluing my finger close so I don't bleed on my models. But, so he just started creating a bunch of OCs that he would draw art of, and the more he explained a potential world and all the lore and world building, the more we got excited about it. And I think he's actually making an entire game now based off of what he started with. So far it's been really interesting. He's got different gods and deities based off of different desires. Yeah. I highly recommend checking out his work because it's really just he posts his art and just has fun with, hey, here's a fun factoid about the setting, here's some characters you might be meeting, and this is why I created them. It's very interesting so far. I've really enjoyed following him on Twitter just because he has really good art, and then he's made some really good characters that are just fun. I think I'm on the same boat with a lot of people. One character he created was a jester called Pipi Panini. Just an Italian jester. And she has a little companion named Woody. Woody is a little tree called a mock stump that he grows based on the magical power generated by the jester's jokes. And so, for a long time, it was just a girl failure who was bad at telling jokes, and the little stump that would just say, whoo, off to the side. However, then I learned more about the different aspects and gods he created, along with their champions and how they work. And it's all been very interesting. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I've been trying to keep up with everything. Oh yeah, you've seen it then, huh? I mean, he is a pretty big creator on Twitter and other places, so I'm not surprised that you might have actually heard of him. Oh. Just trying to move the blood. Stay sealed. But yeah, no, I've been following his work for a while, and I've been very invested in everything he's shown so far. 31. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where that all goes. Oh, for real? That's awesome. But yeah, no. It's been very interesting. This is the way. We're on precious. It's a way, Shady. It's a way. I mean, that's why I started streaming, James. That is why I started streaming, is to meet like-minded people and nerd out about things. And yeah, been a hot minute, Shady. How you holding up? Thinking of which, Shady, did you ever finish that Gundam kit you were building on stream a little while ago? Fear is the mind killer. Fucking. Hey, man. If you're throwing out banger quotes, that's all good for me. No, I haven't got to it. No, fair enough. Because I know that when I get a little bit more cash, I want to do a custom paint job for a Gundam frame from Iron-Blooded Orphans. But that's gonna wait a little while, because first, I need to finish getting this. Because I got the Skaven that I need to finish building. I'm on like 4 out of 5. Then I got another box where it's 3 of them on turret guns. I gotta finish the Space Marines. And then I've got some more D&D stuff that I bought. One of them is a... oh, where is he? Where is he? Ah, here it is. I got a Dualahan Duelist that I want to use to mess with my party. And then I also got Metroid... I got Metroid Fusion. I got Samus's Fusion figure. I can never show my fingers this close up. I am a nail biter. My fingers look awful. My guy, I cut myself on stream by accident, and I just sealed myself with super glue. And besides, if you're worried about nail biting, honestly, I just bought a nail kit for myself. So if I ever get nervous about my nails, I will trim my nails, and then I will just use a file to file them down so I don't worry about how they look. However, I think I'm lucky because I stopped biting my nails when I got braces. Because I could never bite my nails when I had braces on, as much as I did try. Good Lord, Lord knows I tried a lot when I was younger, and I could never get it to work. And besides, I gotta fill in the gap somehow. I can't stream on a computer right now. Because if I could stream on a computer, I would be streaming Uma Musume, because I have been deeply involved in that game. I'm actually doing decent. Oh. Thinking of which, James, I don't know if you are, but is anybody else in here a massive weeb? Because I know I grew up with a lot of anime. Because, y'all, I've been infected with Uma Musume. I started watching the anime like a month ago before I found out about the game. And when I found out about the game, I was cooked. And the reason why I don't have a lot of money right now, I am kind of... fair enough. There's a different level, and there's definitely just watching anime because it's cool and being a weeb. I just fell into the anime mind virus when I was 11 because I was flirting with a girl. My man! Hey, monster girls are phenomenal. We appreciate monster girls here. My personal favorite are Cicalia. That's why I bought a model, and I need to finish painting it on stream. Some of my core memories are of watching NGE freshman year of high school. Okay, NGE. I'm trying to remember what that one stands for. Crap, I can't remember what NGE stands for. Neon... oh my gosh, it's Ava, of course. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Alright. That... I lost some weeb cred there, because I didn't even pick up on Ava. Granted, It's been a long time since I've watched Ava. Granted, I watched, like, the original, like, series. I didn't watch the movies and the re-release that came out. I know a lot of people are big fans of it and have been watching it. It was alright the first time I watched it, but I never kept up with it. I would always hear about it just because with enough weebs around, somebody's going to talk about Ava. 3 Monster Girls. I play Daughters of Cain. Draw your own conclusions. I mean, for those who are new here, allow me to just go grab my deck box for Magic. Because since I never got in trouble the last time I showed this off, I assume that YouTube doesn't mind me showing this off at all on stream. In terms of Monster Girls, this is my favorite one from anime because Monster Musume is one of my favorite anime. And when I first bought this box, this was the image that was advertised for the box. However, the reason I don't bring this in public that often is because this is the back of the box. That's... On this side, sure, it's anime, it's risky. The back side... It's a little dicey on that one. But no, Monster Girls are superior. I love them a lot. I salute you. I salute you. But yeah, no. With how prevalent Monster Girls are for me, I'm not surprised I got into Uma Musume. But gosh dang it. I've been stuck in that rabbit hole for a while. I also need to play Daughters of Cain, because I've known about it for a while. I just never had the chance to really check it out, and I really do want to, because I hear good things about it. But yeah, for Uma Musume for the game right now, I've been stuck with the I like Spider Girls and Snake Girls, but I like Snakes more. You know what? That's fair, though. Lamia are good. Here's the thing. As far as Monster Girls go, I like the Spider Girls, as evidenced by the fact that I have 3 Driders. And then Cicalia are kind of my favorite, but you don't get a lot of Cicalia in general, so it's kind of hard to find these things. But Lamia are really cool. Actually, hold on, I have her nearby. I want to repaint her skin, but Lamia Snake Girls are always good. They are good, and we put respect on them. Especially because if you're like me and you watch Monster Musume and love that anime, Mia is adorable. She's not my favorite of the group, but she is adorable. She tries her best, and that's what counts. But yeah, for Uma Musume, I got Haru Urara up to a B rank, so I'm very excited about how I'm able to go with her character and make her work. But right now, my main goal is I'm trying to figure out how to play Rice Shower, because every time I try to use Rice Shower, I just fail. Like, because Silent Suzuka was the first one I got through the entire career mode just fine. Then it was Haru Urara, and then it was the Simboli Rudolph. But for the life of me, like, I get close with Sakura Bakushino, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how Rice Shower works, but I love her costume design. And I cannot get that poor girl to win through the career mode. I'm just so bad at her playstyle. 32 and 33. But yeah, no. Part of the reason why I don't have money is because I may or may not have donated and paid money to send food to Haru Urara because she's adorable and needs food. Antagonish is a great YouTuber to learn more about monsters. Okay. I'll have to look into that. So far, my only contribution so far is the fact that I'm working on a script for how centaur anatomy works. After that, I want to do one for Lamia and Driders, because I think it'd just be fun to discuss and look into it. So I've been trying to do some research into it, and I almost finished the video, and then, for those who follow me on Twitter might have seen, I had a debacle with OneDrive, where it deleted my files. And since I use Filmora, all of my image files were deleted off my computer, which meant that all my files that I was using in my editing were lost, and so I have to redo my entire video. So that's a thing I have to deal with. But once I finish with that, I want to go into getting, like, I want to do Drider anatomy, because Driders are weird the more you look into them because of how spider anatomy works. But that will take some time to figure out. Until then, I could just be a professional idiot, and I can just talk about things. Because I am not necessarily a smart man. I am just a man who thinks way too much about things that I start asking questions. But that's always been my greatest strength when it comes to writing things or helping my friends write their own stories, is they'll tell me something, I'll think about it, then I'll ask a question, and that helps them answer questions or set something up. Oh yeah. However, I like the weird creatures, they're fun. That's why eventually, after I do Driders, like, because right now I'm working on Centaurs, then I'm going to do Lamia, then I'm going to do Drider, then I want to work on how this thing's anatomy works. Because this is so weird, but in such a cool way, I want to try doing some research and figuring it out. I'm also biased because octopus are my favorite animals. Oh boy, how am I going to make this work? Ah, that's how it goes. Okay. Okay. We are going to need tweezers. Oh no, 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 no. No, no, no. You are going, and you are going to stay on there. Oh. Ah. Crap. That is not helpful. Spider Girl's Jorogumo. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Because that is the Japanese folklore name for that type of creature, right? I believe so. Okay, yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But yeah. Okay, I think that hand is on as best as it will stay. And if we fail with this hand, then we're going to do what we did with this guy's hand and just say, screw the hands, we're going to give him a chain and something else. I might just graft something worse on. Because with all these space shark bits that I have, they also come with ridiculous swords. And so if I can't get this hand to stay on, I'm probably going to clip this sword in half, because it's a very jagged blade, and just set it on top of his arm. That, or I'm just going to take the anchor and set it on his arm and see what kind of chaos I can do with that. But yeah, just gonna go bit by bit, because, well. And it says, where did I put that arm? And just like that, I knock off the hand. 10 out of 10 me, 10 out of 10. Okay. We are going to ignore that and deal with it at a later time. Because I need to figure out how to get this arm on. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're getting the shank hand. It's really disappointing because I didn't want to kit bash too much because this is my first Skaven kit. But really, these hands just don't stay on at all. Like, I see what they were going with when they made the kits, but these do not fit well together. Oh, was you... What in the hell? Alright, we might not have to do the knife hand because there's no point. Why would I put... Okay, I need to show you guys something because this, to me, is dumb. So, when you look at the instructions, it shows this hand, that arm, and it shows that you're supposed to put that arm underneath after the fact. Why would I do that? I'm just going to put this on. If I put that arm on first and then glue the hand on top, I don't have to worry about where the hand goes after on the arm. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, if I can find where I put the hand, we're just going to cheat. Because then if I can just... How do we... Okay. So we're just gonna... Okay. If I could stop dropping the hand, that would probably help a lot right now. Oh, where did that hand even go? Oh my goodness. The hand didn't fall off the table, did it? Where did it go? I swear it was just... I swear, I'm gonna have to watch this part back, because I don't know where that hand flew off to. Ah. Oh, no, there it is. Found it. However, I'm assuming the super glue is for the most part dry, so... Okay. Try this one more time. Okay. We're cheating, but we're making it work. Okay. Okay. Yep, good enough. I will take good enough. Alright. So, since we didn't get a knife hand on this guy, what I am going to do for the next guy, because for the final guy that we're making, it's, once I finish getting a head on this current model, next guy has a sword off to the side. I'm going to replace that sword with one of the bigger ones that I have. You think that's big enough? Because I like this as a power sword. I'm going to save this for a future space shark that I want to make. But I think just going with this sword for the next Skaven would just be fun as, like, the war leader. Granted, if I was thinking about kit bashing that early on, probably should have replaced this guy's sword with one. Because if I'm making somebody the de facto leader, probably want it to be the guy who is pointing his sword forward. But we'll see. I'm first going to have to build the guy and see which hand I'm going to snip. But since I already stole a chain off of an anchor and a hook, and lost said hook in the process because I am blind, we're just going to keep kit bashing these guys because we've already started. What's the point in stopping? Okay. Then I need... I believe that's 35 and 34. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the head is 35. Yeah. That was a very nice break. I said 34? Yeah, 34. Okay. All right. We've had some interesting mistakes already, which is very in line considering the Skaven. So, I think we're getting a canonical build even if I didn't think so. We were going to do so in the first place. We're just going to snip or cut that off and just trim a little. But yeah, no, jumping back a few conversations because I'm very interested. I want everybody to sound off. Top 3 monster girls. I want to know the top 3, and then I want to know your least, like, your bottom 3 monster girls. For me, top 3 are going to be... going to start with the Cicalia, because they're my personal favorite. Arachnage or Ugumo or Driders, however you want to call them. And then Lamia. Those are going to be my top 3, personally. Bottom 3, I'm not a big fan of Harpies. I'm not a big fan of Slimes too much. And I would say a controversial one that I'm not a big fan of is I don't like Giants. Like, in the right hands, any monster girl is going to be cute. I'm not denying that. But Giants and Ogres, I'm not normally a big fan of them. It's not normally my cup of tea. But I'm curious what you guys would say. Oh wait, another creature girl that I think is good. VTubers. Just in general. Dwarf, Centaur, and Lamia. Okay, okay. Good taste, good taste. I like it. And I just knocked off that hand. Hot damn. Yep, VTubers. I don't know what kind of creature they are, but VTubers are just insane, and I enjoy watching them more than I should. Thinking of which, Shady, where are you? I know you're in here. And I just had that hand a second ago. Where did I drop it now? They're a mythical creature called women. Yeah, but we know they don't exist, so... However, I would be remiss, since you did mention centaurs, if I didn't bring this one out. I had a dumb idea when I was painting this on my last stream, because from the back, the hair reminded me of Avril Lavigne. So thanks to the guys who were in chat, I got the idea that this is now Avril Centaurine, and I'm doing her outfit in the colors of her Skater Boy music video outfit. And I may or may not have a friend who is doing a 3D model, so I can print one off, where it is just straight up that outfit with the snapback included as a centaur woman to paint. It was late at night in my defense, and I wasn't sure if that'd be a good idea or a bad idea. I'm not even sure if it was any of those ideas. But I liked it too much, and now I'm too far in that I gotta commit to the bit and finish it. Very fair. Top 3 is Cicalia, or basically the half woman, half octopus. I'm loyal to the Cicalia. After that is Driders, and then it is Lamia. So basically, octopus, spider, and then snake. Those are my top 3. I mean, I did purposely include the VTuber thing as a joke. Best Lamia, Kitsune barely counts, the most robot. You know what? No, Kitsune count. Because if it's a Kitsune, depending on which version, how many tails, I say, determines how much of a monster they are. If it's a 1 tail, okay, maybe. If you got the 9-tail Kitsune, absolutely. And they are adorable. Slimes, dolls, and robots are up there, but most likely don't. I think dolls and robots can be. I would say that's fine. It just depends on, like, because I would say, do you call them a monster or not? But I'd say it's good. Well, I feel like we always talk about like our preferences for. We always talk about preference on like who the best. What you call it? Who the best ones are, like our favorite monster girls, but we never talk about the ones that we don't like that much. And I just have no problem saying that giants and ogres, not. I appreciate them when I see them in stories because they seem to be handled well as characters. They're just not my thing. I mean, fair. I feel like robots are a toss up. I would kind of count them. It just depends on yay or nay. I think it just depends on person by person. However, for the sake of this, because I threw this at you guys unscripted, I would count them just for the sake of. I'm not going to tell everybody, hey, let's not. We can't count them for XYZ reason. I'm mostly just asking because I'm just curious. Okay. Got the rat head. Especially because depending on how you go with robot, you could just call them homunculus or golem, and they're technically that. Just, is it done with magic? Is it done with tech? It just depends. So I say it can go either way. Just depends on how you go about handling it. Okay. A dab. Just connect it all. Okay. Depends on how inhuman they are for robots, to be fair. Yeah, that's true, Anthony. That's true. Because I feel like with a haunted doll, that's just a ghost with extra steps, but extra good steps, or it's just Magitech. So it's a toss-up, but I'll definitely allow it. Least favorite, you do know? All right, hit me with it, James. What's your least favorite? I am very curious. Oh, shoot. Okay. Got the rat. Now we need the backpack. Oh, gotcha. No worries, James. No worries. I believe. Yeah, 36. Okay. No, that's fair, man. Like I said, I am hitting on the spot by asking best and worst monster girl for your opinions. But we were on the subject, and I happen to be doing videos trying to go over. Like, I'm doing research to make videos on how their biology works, so I'm very curious what people have to say. Oh shoot, that's bending the wrong thing. Also, James, if you don't mind me asking, what languages do you speak? Candlegeist. Okay. Okay. I'll have to look that up later. English. I am just bad at it. You know what? That's fair, James. That's fair. I know. I mean, I'm not the best with English. My Spanish has gotten worse, though, over the years because I've barely been able to practice it. Which is really sad because I used to live in Mexico and speak it every day. Now, gosh, I am terrified. Because I do not conjugate. Well, it's not so much the conjugation, it's more of my sentence structures are always off. And I know they're off, I just can't remember how to properly formulate the sentence anymore. Which is ironic, because I used to teach English as a second language to people. Okay. Speaking of robots and inhuman, they're just serving a story I love. Tag. A normal person that her nickname is Miss Normal. Really? What story is that? That sounds interesting. Seven 38 39. Last Light of a Dark Age. Huh. I don't know that one. So what's the synopsis for that one? Because that... You've got my interest with the fact that that protag is called Miss Normal. Or... Yeah. I'm very curious about how that works. I mean, I can occasionally know of a niche thing. Not always, but I do occasionally know something. 37, 38. Forum quests. Can't say I know that one, no. Forum game where a writer writes a story, gives options, then the thread votes on the... Oh! Okay. So it's just an online version of the Choose Your Own Adventures stories. Okay. That actually seems really interesting. I always wondered if anybody made a digital version of a choose your own adventure game. Just wondering, why do you like the octopus girl? Honestly, for that one, it started with the fact that when I was a kid, I like villains more than I like heroes in a lot of stories. And Ursula from The Little Mermaid was just fun to watch on screen, so I would watch The Little Mermaid for Ursula. As I got older and learned more about Cicalia, I just like how they look. Also, octopus are just my favorite animal, so the half woman, half favorite animal combination, it was just something that would just get to me. I don't know. But that's just something I always liked. It just always appealed to me whenever I looked into it. And the fact that Ursula was just such a fun villain when I was a kid, it just kind of cemented that I like that kind of creature. That's kind of really all the rhyme and reason is. Oh yeah, no, I love octopus. I think they're amazing. But yeah, Anthony, know that. It makes, the format you're describing does make sense. As a kid, I did have the Choose Your Own Adventure style books, where it's just a full written book where it says, okay, if you make this choice, go to X page or go there. I figured it would be better in a digital format to write out a book like that. So, Forum Quest definitely seemed like a really cool innovation on it. So I'll definitely have to look into that later, because I'd be very curious to see how it goes. Warhammer 29K. It's right before the Great Crusade, although the Warhammer stuff is pretty tangential. It's written like Disco Elysium. Ooh. Okay. That's really cool. A fun narrative choice. And in a good time for Warhammer, too. Okay. Okay. Hold it by the tail. Get some glue. Okay. Just need to finish cutting these last few things out. Yeah, that's fine. You can drop links in the chat. I don't mind. If anything, that just gives me an easier way to look into things that you describe. So I'm always for it. And I mean, I do appreciate it when people ask first. So yeah. Yeah, man. If you got some links, I will definitely take a look at it later, because I am very interested. Oh, I have one extra head in this kit. Oh, that's hilarious. Ah, they might have. I don't know how YouTube does their chat that well. I've been trying to figure it out, but I can barely. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the options on how I can change or work with that. So that will be something else I have to look into. Yeah, no worries, man. Come on. Let's get that. I also got to notice that my phone's almost dead, so I'm gonna have to end stream fairly soon. I just want to finish cutting out some of this stuff. So then, question for everybody here. One second. I'm just going to make a poll so that way we can do something with it. It's 30 or should be in bed as well. No, fair, fair. Alright, so looking at this for the Skaven guy, we got two options here. I can either keep the sword as normal for him, which is this little curved chipped blade, or I can cut off at the top there for the handle, and I replace it with the Carcharodon shark sword I have. So I leave it up to you guys. Do I do shark sword or rat sword for when I finish this? So while you guys are voting, I'm just going to focus on trying to get the rest of the rat build up real fast. I'm seeing all the votes going to making it the shark sword instead of the rat sword. So unless we get outvoted real fast, I'm just going to assume that it is a shark rat that we're going with for the leader, which I am more than okay with. It's putting all my Carcharodon bits to good use and faster than I ever expected them to be. Oh, come on now. All right. Well, I'm going to finish getting this guy glued up, and then I'll make a post once I'm done. But then the poll is in. Everybody, I just see unanimous that everybody wants the shark sword for the rat. So, unless if anybody wants to change the vote, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the top of this sword and replace it with this, so that we have a very dramatic looking rat commander with a sword. But until then, I'm just gonna do some quick cutting while I still got time. All right. So I'm going to focus on getting everything glued up, but thank you guys for showing up. My phone is about to die, so I just can't continue stream anymore. But thank you for showing up. Thank you for talking with me and for being here. Hope all of you have a good night or a good day, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you next. Until then, take care, and I'll see you all later.